Okay, we are live. So I'm gonna come back into Zoom. Okay. So we are live. We can share it out. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining. We'll get started in a few moments. Take this time to share out the video. This is sure to be a lively discussion this evening. I thank you for joining us. And please say hello just so that I know who is joining us this evening. Okay, so we're gonna give it a few moments as we share out the video and you share out the video so that we make sure that we have a good audience this evening. And we will get started shortly. As you come in, please say hello just so that I know who is joining us this evening. Hi, John, thank you for joining. Just gonna tag a few people that, because sometimes the notifications lately, I don't know, they haven't really been getting to everyone. So I'm gonna tag a few people. Greetings, Corey, thank you for joining. Okay, so welcome to Healers Haven special virtual panel series. This is all about our men healing men. And I just thank you for joining this evening. I'm really excited about this series and especially tonight about this topic. Tonight, we are going to be focusing on love, relationships, and the role that mental health plays in love and relationships. I have two amazing professionals who are joining me this evening, and they are going to, impart some wisdom, their insight, as well as some solutions. So if you have questions, you have comments, please drop them in the comment sections. Don't be shy. Tag the men in your life. If the ladies that are on here, brothers that are on here, tag your cousins, your brothers, your uncles, your dad. This is really for you. Last year, I had the amazing opportunity of hosting and really creating and holding space for men, for Black men in Queens, New York. And it was a healing meditation circle that I held last June. So this year I wanted to kind of spread the love to other states. And the best way to do that is virtually, because I can't be everywhere. And I thought it was really important to have, some men to come on and really talk about their expertise and tell you a little bit about what they do to support the healing journey of men. So this is why we're here today. So without further ado, I want to introduce my special guests and panelists. We have Kelvin Troy Johnson, who is the creator of Love Coach Atlanta. And he is going to, I'm sure, enlighten you with so many wonderful jewels just because of the work that he is doing in his area and really all over the country. And then we also have Aaron Muller, who is a licensed social worker, and he is also a CASAC, which is a certified alcohol and substance abuse counselor. And he does couple therapy and works with African-American males. And he just a lot of wisdom, my fellow therapist, and he's also going to share, his insights. And I'm just grateful to have them both here tonight. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to start with Aaron. Just let everybody know a little bit about you.
So like you said, I'm a licensed social worker from Adelphi University. I'm also a school social worker for the Department of Education. So I work with children dealing with, behavioral issues, social emotional issues. And then my wife and I have a private practice in Valley Stream, New York, where I see individuals, couples, and families. A lot of children I also see there with social emotional issues as well. My primary focus is African American males, dealing with anxiety and depression, relationship issues, interpersonal issues and things like that, and kind of providing support and encouragement in that area.
Wonderful. Thank you for coming and being a part of this today.
Thank you.
Kelvin?
Hello, everybody. I am Kelvin Troy Johnson. I'm a speaker, trainer, and author, as well as the creator of Love Coach Atlanta. It's a dating and relationship platform where we do love coaching sessions, as well as go out as a team. I have a team of counselors and therapists, and we go out and do collective events about on love and on dating and making up and breaking up, and we love that kind of work. And so my background is from the social work community. Worked with males my whole life, practically. I work with boys in the group home, grown men in the shelters, grown men helping them find jobs, as well as men in the church as the men's fellowship leader and coordinator, as well as I am a member of the greatest fraternity on God's green earth. Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated.
I guess.
I mean, what else is there? Like, really? And so my work has always been with males, and so that leads itself over to working with Love Coach Atlanta.
Wonderful. So listen, you guys are already getting a sneak peek of how this segment is going to go. We have a wealth of expertise here, by the combination of these two wonderful kings. And I realized I was so excited about having you guys here and this topic, I forgot to introduce myself. So I am Phoenix Love of a Healers Haven Holistic Health and Wellness Solutions. I work with purpose-driven leaders to provide holistic healing solutions to help you towards your wellness goals and work-life balance. I am the helper to the healer and the healer to the healthy. Thank you again for joining. Again, if you have questions, I see more people coming in. Please drop your questions in the comment section. I am checking my other device so that we can make sure we address your questions. So let's get started. My first question is, because, again, Kelvin, you kind of dived into it a little bit about your background and kind of your journey to doing the work you do. But I wanted to just know a little bit more about, and let the audience know about, what really led to you doing the specialized work that you do, and how has your personal experience have influenced even working with the populations that you work with? And
yeah.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Kelvin.
definitely. So yeah, after working with men all of these years, and just hearing all the stories, all the highs, the lows, the reasons why he walked out, the reasons why he came back, often joke and say, if you want to know why Bob runs away with the secretary, ask me. And I'll tell you exactly why he did that. And so it's just after hearing all those stories and ideas, when I moved here to Atlanta, I looked at the area, looked at the region, and one of the biggest issues they had here was relationships. And I was interested in the market, so we went for it. I then turned all of my my experience of coaching and counseling with males and turned it towards relationships, even helping women to understand how men think. And just recently, I launched a new YouTube channel called Secrets of the Mind of a Man, where I let all the secrets go of the conversations that men have. So
But that can't make you too popular among the men now.
I don't care about them. Look, they'll get their turn.
Okay. Wonderful. And
Yeah.
so, Aaron, how about you? How did you get started? What really led you to working with, males, African American males specifically? Was there any personal experiences that led you to do the work you're doing?
So primarily what I realize is when doing individual and couple sessions that I found that the brothers were really challenged with articulating their feelings. You know, they primarily may not been the person who made the phone call in terms of the individual or the couples therapy, but you know, maybe their partners feel like they need to go. But I found that, you know, there's something missing. I'm like, this brother like really has a lot going on, and is really, this is not the you know, avenue for him to express his feelings, because it's so focused about the relationship. And it's hard. It is hard to be present when you have your own issues going on, you know, in a relationship. So I was like, wow, like brothers is not really getting the help that they supposed to, that they need to get. And I was like, nah. So that's when I just really started just going hardcore. And I come from I'm multitasking. I have a 7-week-old baby.
Oh,
Congratulations.
all right. We're seeing it right here. The relationship.
Yeah.
You know, dad.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah.
Keep,
Because
go
the
ahead.
wife got to step out for a minute. So
Listen.
multitasking.
That's okay.
I realized that, you know, we need support. Like we need our own, you know, space to kind of, you know, express how we feel and stuff like that. So that's where it came with the Black Kings Need Therapy too. I don't know if you saw that. I promote that a lot. It's a T-shirt line that I started.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
So I put two because other you know, other races are going, and women go to therapy, but Black kings, you know, we want to be kings, we gotta do the work. So
Thank
that's
you.
what Black Kings Need Therapy too, TOO.
Yes.
So like also, yeah.
Wonderful. And you know, it's interesting that you said that, because I was just meeting with a client today, and it was a female, but you know, we were just talking about relationships, and often I'll have recently a young man, you know, he's recently married, have young children, and he wanted to come for couples therapy. And what I said to him, I said, you know, I don't mind providing couples therapy, but truthfully, that's really not my focus. I have plenty, you know, like yourself, that's in my network that's their focus. And I said, but my first question is always, when anybody asks me about couples therapy, have you done your own work? Have you done your own healing journey? What have you done separately? Have you done therapy, you know, separately as individuals? Because 9 times out of 10, and I want to hear both of your responses from this, most of the time, if there is some kind of issue within the relationship, sometimes somebody just, we all bring our stuff into
That stuff,
the
right?
relationship, right? So sometimes it's just unhealed wounds, it's stuff from childhood, it's, you know, all of these different factors, how we were raised up, you know, everything, our rearing, and we're bringing in even sometimes past relationships, right? Bringing into the relationship if we haven't dealt with it. So I always feel that you have to do your work individually. So I just wanted to kind of get your feedback on that as well. And like what you're seeing, you know, when people come to you.
Absolutely, right. So we have, you know, two people from different walks of life, right, expecting to commune as one and agree on things and work together and live together and finances together and raise children together. And you know, nobody's the same, you know. Now, if you haven't developed, you know, the ability to actively listen, you know, we are quick to respond, you know what I'm saying, without actively listening, you know, and you have your own stuff going on, maybe your own insecurities. You haven't worked on your own personal goals, right? Like there's financial issues going on, say one make more money than the other, so you have that dynamic going on. So it's just a, you know, multitude of issues. You don't have poor coping skills. You know, you may respond in anger, frustration, not able to recognize anxiety, not recognize your own depression. And you respond in anger, you know. So just not being aware, you know what I'm saying? That self-awareness, not recognizing your love language. You know, I could go on and on about how the, you know, discrepancies in relationships just from not being aware of your own stuff and not being able to recognize, you know, what your partner's going through, recognizing cues, and, you know, just being able to check in, be like, hey, what's going on? I see you're not looking like yourself and stuff like that, instead of responding in and oh, he go with attitude again, you know. So that makes a difference, you know what I'm saying, in relationships.
Right, and we're going to come back to that, because you touched on some good tips that we're going to come right back around to towards the end. But Kelvin, what's your 2 cents on this?
Yeah, you know, as he was just talking, I was thinking about one of the events that we have here in Atlanta is called Lessons in Love. You know, because if you think about it, you know, how do you learn what love is, and how to be in love. And for many of us, I was blessed with two good parents, and they I don't think I don't think my parents ever had a crossword. Their words just banging into each other. But they're actually a good couple, and they work well together. But everybody didn't have that experience, and to see two people working together. And so I feel like we learn everything else in school. We go to school and we learn math and science and reading, and look, they even teach us how to do push-ups in gym. Right? But who teaches you how to choose the right partner who's going to have probably one of the most influential positions in your whole entire life?
Right.
How do you know what's right for you? Who's right for you? How do you know how old you should be, and where, I mean, you could just go on and on about all the things that we don't know when we jump into this life-changing situation that literally determines up or down. Like the person that we hook into, they determine our future a lot of times. And so I think that is something that it just doesn't get enough attention on learning what a relationship is. What is a relationship? And how do I have a good one? How do I make sure that I have a good one? And like that, that's a conversation that just really needs to be had continually.
Right. So let's stay on that for a minute, because this is about the men. This is for the men, and of course the women that love them. And let's specifically talk about men, because even some things that came up in the conversation last night, which the topic was about psychology of like money and generational wealth and investments and all of that. And it really went kind of in a little deep when we started talking about sort of the psyche of the mind of a man, as well, especially with a Black man. Just some of the things that you face on a daily basis, some of the things that you deal with, just being a man, an African-American man, a Black man in this country, in this world, and how much of that influences how you show up in your relationship. We got a little bit of that. Somebody got to turn their thing down. Can you hear me?
It sounds like the radio.
Yeah, there's like some feedback coming from somewhere. Somebody got radio, right?
That's weird.
That's weird. It's like, see, look, they don't want us talking about this. Running interference. Aaron, yes. Can you hear me? I think it's Aaron. Can you hear me?
All right.
Okay.
I can hear you now.
There was something going on. It was running some interference, maybe the area. So what I was saying is that just being a Black male and showing up in the world, and how does that influence how you show up in your relationships? Just all of the things that you have to deal with as a Black male in this country, in this world. All of the different things that you have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. How does that influence, far as showing up in your relationships and in love, and some of the decisions that are made? And I think you touched on some of it, Aaron, but if you could talk a little bit more, specifically, especially because you work with this population on a regular basis.
Right. So it's like a number of things, and we could be here all night. So you think about just in terms of just maybe access to healthcare may be challenging, access to resources, because you may have some health and some legal issues from your childhood that kind of messed you up in terms of finding employment. So therefore now you're looking at maybe financially you may not be where your partner's at, and I see that a lot. I see that more often than I thought.
Right.
In terms of that, the dynamic between the man and the woman in terms of making more money, and she may not be hovering that over his head, but in terms of mentally, what is that like for him? you know, in terms of like, because we have an idea of what, and not even trying to be like from the Flintstones era, but we just have an idea of what manhood is like, and that is providing, that's making money, you know, etc. like that. And when your lady makes more than you, what does that do to you mentally?
Mm.
You know, what does that do to you mentally? And then how do you respond to that when she asks you to take out the garbage? You know,
Mm.
you already make more money. And I might say this is okay, but this happens a lot because
True.
it looks like, what's the big deal? She actually take out the garbage, but on top of everything else, you already make more money than me. What does that feel like to me? Now you tell me what to do. So you respond, your response may be irrational, you
Mm.
know, and it's not something that she's doing. She's not even doing anything. She still make you feel like a man, but internally how we feel about that, because our lady makes more than us, because of systemic racism, because of being a black man, because of the mistake, you know, it wasn't you, or looked like you, or you got that charge and you shouldn't have got. You
Mm.
know what I'm saying? Like I said, that's just one of many reasons
Right.
in terms of what being a black man, you know, like at work, you know what I'm saying? Your boss make you feel, you know, less than. And then, you know, you travel home, you get stopped by the police, you know what I'm saying? You feel less than there. Then you come home, you know, then you have that scenario that I talked about. So now like in all these areas, you just feel less than. So you respond to, you become angry, you become vigilant, you become aggressive,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that's just one scenario.
Right, and but it's a powerful one, and it's something that we know it shows up all the time. You know,
Right.
even the work that I do and working with families, and you know, even working with the women, and some of the stories I hear, you know, is very much related to that. And actually, I think we have somebody. I'm just looking through the comments. FD Sanija, she said, "I'm dating again, and I find that most men want the woman to pay half of everything. I find this is disturbing." She said, "I find this is disturbing." Yeah,
Disturbing.
me too.
On a date?
So, yeah, that's what she said, on a date.
Wow.
She said on a date. So Kelvin, I'm gonna let you tackle the first one, and then
Okay.
y'all can come on back with that one and respond to FD Sanaja on that one, because that's
Wait.
not good.
So her what I don't see her question. What's her question?
No, her question was
Oh,
she.
I'm dating
Her
again.
question
I see it.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm dating again, and I find that most men want a woman to pay half for everything. All right, yes, that is disturbing, FD. That is disturbing. Well, but what I suggest is what a different kind of thing that came out. People call it pre-dating, right?
Oh, what's that?
Look. Not and pre-dating is not going to his house and hanging out, right? No, pre-dating is let's meet for coffee.
Mm,
Let's meet up at the restaurant and have a drink. We're going to hang out for an hour, and or a short time. Let's go feed the ducks, okay? Because listen, let me tell you, as for the men and for the men that I coach and talk to, like if you're really hardcore on the dating scene, like dating could be expensive.
mm,
Sure
and,
can.
and look, we talk about we're talking about like is it weird, why is it weird for women to have to pay half? Look, if you go on 3 dates a week, you could be dropping some serious cash on dates, and it may not even be anything long lasting. And so it could be expensive, not to mention I understand to some extent the guy's situation, and actually, there's a lot of women who even do this as well. They say, "Look, I'll pay my half, you pay your half, and it's all good. So then I don't owe you nothing at the end of the night."
mm. Dutch.
Okay,
We used to call that Dutch. I don't know if they call it now.
they call it Dutch. Listen, so look, but there are some women who are old fashioned and they want the man to pay for it, and he has to be ready for that. But that's all in the conversation. And if that's not what you want, stop the conversation right there and say, you know what, this ain't gonna work. Let's both save time and money, and this isn't gonna work out. I can see it already, and let's just maybe not even be friends. Let's say so long and go
Right.
on with your life.
Because isn't that a little bit of that's communication up front, right?
It
Kind of
is.
like
Right.
about setting the tone. You know,
Absolutely, it is.
listen. Anyway, I was gonna tell a story, but we don't have time. I'm married. I've been with my husband 20 years now, so But the beginning was funny because my thing was like I had a standard, and he took me to a certain place. We kind of did the coffee thing, but it really wasn't. And we joke about it to this day because I'm like, dude, we met up at the Olive Garden for our first date. That wasn't a real first date. So he was like, it's the Olive Garden thing. But then he kind of made up for it and put me, we went to this like really fancy restaurant, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, there's an expectation, depending on what your standard is,
right.
And then you don't lower your standard. You know what you want, what you're looking for. And if right off the bat, the guy is saying, hey, can we pay half?
Yeah.
I don't know. You got to look at that. So anyway.
Yeah. So I agree and disagree with it. I both agree and disagree with.
Well, you understand. You're looking at it from the perspective of both.
Both perspectives. Absolutely.
Okay. So the next question I want to ask the two of you is, let's talk about, because again, my whole platform is all about, mental health from a holistic perspective. And when I talk about holistic, I'm talking about mind, body healing, mind, body, soul, spirit, but also holistic in every aspect of our life, and Aaron, you know this as well as you, Kelvin, of social work. We learn about systems. We are the person in the environment, the pie, we're in the middle. We have all these systems that we operate within. And we also are a system, and we're multifaceted. So we have our work life, we have our personal life, we have our family, we have love, we have all those different things. So when we talk about men and healing, one of the things when I was researching and getting ready to pull this together was what were the stress factors? Looking at all the stress factors that primarily, Black men deal with. Finances was right up there at the top, but then of course it was relationships, right? So just want to, get some feedback from the both of you. Like, what are you seeing? What do most of your clients come to you? What are the issues when it comes to the Black men coming to you and say, hey, I need help, or I need coaching, or whatever it is when it comes down to, relationships, but what are the primary issues that they're coming to you?
So I would say is the interpersonal issue that affecting their relationship. So whether it be issues from childhood, whether it be self-esteem, whether it be anxiety and depression, whether it be self-medicating, because of what they're experiencing. I would say the number one would be, if it's couples, I would say is communication.
Really?
Is the number one issue.
Okay.
And I find that communication, matter of fact, the communication was good in the beginning, but it's that during the course of time, the course of the relationship, they stopped talking because of issues that they had going on and stuff like that, and not being able to feel comfortable to share those experiences, what they're going through with their girl. When I do speaking engagements, and around the city and stuff like that, the number one thing is that once a dude is feeling a girl, feeling his girl, his girlfriend, whatever like that, is that they want to, but the fear is it being thrown up in their face. That's the number one thing. So it's like, if I share this with you, like, can I trust you with this information? And another thing that with brothers that they're dealing with is being coined too emotional, like they need to man up.
Wow.
by their partners. So it's like, it's this double-edged sword. You want them to be open, but then when they're too vocal, so you the female in a relationship now, like these derogatory things. That's the things that being said. So it's like you're asking for him to be vulnerable, but when he's expressive, now he's too much of that, or you're calling him names and stuff like that. So it's like, okay, then let me go back into my shell.
Oh, and you know what? And look, and then we're saying, men, come out. Therapy's for you too. We're pulling them out, and the women are saying, look, we need you to be whole and healed, just like we're doing our work too. But then you're saying there's some women that are actually
Yeah, I
come in
have
and
a
saying negative things to them
I
when
have
they
a client
are.
that
No,
that he is in therapy, and
not
he's
good.
like, he wants to work on it. He's like, yo, what should I say? Because when I do express myself, she's telling me this, and I'm like, well, you know what? Then you need to give, like I said, she needs another to a therapist too, because the relationship is fragmented. Now you're doing the healing and the work, and she's telling you that you need to man up. Like, isn't that the whole point of getting him to express feelings so that you can
Right.
work on these, kind of these counterproductive behaviors that you guys have, not, arguing and screaming. Like, you want to not do that. So he's working on it, but I guess he's messing up the homeostasis of the relationship, because
Right.
some people function in dysfunction.
In dysfunction, exactly. Some people are comfortable in the mess. They're
Yeah.
comfortable with the actual disorganization and the conflict, and some people thrive off of that.
But it's fun and exciting. You fight, you argue, you go to Red Lobster, you go to the movies, you come back home, and then y'all good for a date, and you argue again, and then that's just a cycle.
Wow, wow. Kelvin, you want to chime in?
I do. So there's two things that I'm seeing. I have a coaching contract through social service and through a social service agency, and I'm seeing more young boys who are dealing with sexual trauma. And what I'm seeing is these young men, and as I started really processing it, a lot of the older men that I see that I work with doing the coaching side, doing the adult man coaching side, they are kind of a product of the conflict and the trauma from the past. When I was a young man, if you said that you started having sex at 12 years old, 13 years old, like you were the man, like you were a stud, and people were like, yo. And I literally know a guy who lost his virginity at age 9.
Oh,
Mm.
no.
And so, you know, to him, he was like, yo, I've been in this game a long time, but I bet if you follow his life and the relationships in his life, there's a lot of fragmenting going on because of that early trauma that was seen as a positive, but when it happens, it's still trauma.
Right.
Even
He's a
if you
little
thought
kid.
that,
Yeah.
yeah, and even if you thought you liked it, it's at the time, he said he was scared, but like, how does that play out for you now as a grown man who has to stand and deliver as a man, having that kind of background. So that's from the adolescent side. But something else that I'm seeing is just the depression in adult men.
Mhm.
I read a statistic that said there's 6 million men suffering from depression per year.
Yep.
And most of it's going undiagnosed. As Aaron said, they're not coming to therapy. The most they'll do is go hang out at the bar with the boys. But I mean, how much therapy are you going to get from there?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so they're dealing with that, with fatigue and irritability, and just like a loss of a reason for being, which so if you have enough loss of reason for being, it's easy to slip into suicidal thoughts, which for males, suicide is still on the rise, has been on the rise since 2000, and it's still going up. And it's the 7th leading cause of deaths for males, is suicide. So there definitely is some issues that we're dealing with, and it's definitely systemic.
Yes, definitely. And I know that, Aaron, you touched on the self-medication piece, or the substance, which is basically what they're doing, substance abuse being very prevalent. Because again, with males, depression is not going to show up the same way as in women necessarily. A lot of times it shows up as acting out, aggression, anger, some of the stuff that you mentioned, Aaron, and even Kelvin, you touched on. But like you said, now, men, what I'm seeing, there is a movement, and men are saying, okay, look, I do need help. I have a online community. People know Holistic Living for Purpose-Driven Leaders. I have men in my community. They have reached out and said, hey, we need stuff too. We need help as well. And I think even now the NFL, there's like a whole initiative for there to have, the therapists right there to work with the men and the football players, because it's an awareness and it's significant. They're realizing because of suicides, because of drug abuse, because we know that's all just ways to be able to cope, or that's their way, because maybe because of the rearing and how society views men, like you said, you can't be vulnerable or you're going to be told that you're soft or you're not being a man. So it's like what are some of the things that, and I know both of you are doing many things, like what are some of the solutions to further, and specifically, when we talk about, yes, there's this bigger awareness going on, but we do still know that in some of the hood and some of the other places, men are still not, they're still taboo. Therapy is the taboo. They're not trying to do it. Like what can be done? Like what are some of the solutions that that you both have been trying to use or have seen effective to help get more men to be aware and not just go the route of, I'm just going to go talk to my homeboys, or I'm going to drink, or I'm going to smoke, or I'm going to just go to the barber shop, because we know that's the other place of therapy, but actually get real help.
Right. So, I guess there's a few answers I have in that. One, unfortunately, everyone is not going to go, and that's was everything. You know what I'm saying? So, for those, it's unfortunate that they won't get the help that they need.
Right.
One thing I do know is that with social media and with everything that's going on now, that everybody's talking about it. So it's not like something that you have not heard about. And that's the beautiful thing about it, that you may not go, but you know about it. So there's nothing that, that unfortunately, like, you have to want to do it for yourself. Yeah. But the fact is that the word is out there. I'm gonna continue, to push and talk about it and encourage people. I'm surprised and overwhelmed about the amount of people throughout the course of my social media career, in terms of like talking about mental health. How many people has reached out to me just saying that, your post has encouraged me to go to therapy. So people I've never met in my life, thank you. You've helped me so much. So I feel like it's getting out there, and I feel like if another person is gone, then my job is done. I may not be able to reach everybody in this world, but for those who have been impacted by just a post or made one appointment at least, then my job is done. So that's my mission, and just continue to push information out there and to encourage people to work in their mental health.
Yes, and thank you for all of the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
We need it. We need to duplicate you too, and all of the men that are out there, because I actually have another live tomorrow, and we're going to specifically be talking about mental health and alternative ways to heal, but also addiction, anger, specifically about certain diagnosis. And I have two wonderful practitioners that are going to join me tomorrow. So, I'm letting everyone know that's watching this. So please share this video out. And those that watch this on the replay, just put #replay, put your comments, your questions, and I'm sure Kelvin and Aaron will be more than happy to answer them. And they're also going to share their information at the end of this live. So this is so important. If it's not you, or a male that's struggling, there are resources, and they're all over the country, and they're here. So if you have questions and you're on here now, please answer your questions. We only have a few more minutes. And Kelvin, just want to get your feedback as well.
Absolutely. I love that, Aaron. And I want to. There's something that I love that's happening in the culture right now, and that is the whole conversation about mental health is becoming more mainstream. We all saw what's her name? Taraji P. Henson. Thank you. Yeah, just making it an open conversation about mental health. Now, we do know that a lot of men won't go, but what I'm hearing too now is that a lot of men are doing and considering things like meditation. You know, there's something powerful in silence. You know, so sometimes just having a moment to quiet your mind and learning how to manage your mind will help your mental health. Okay. And so things like that, and things like you know, I'm even talking to guys all the time about just your morning routine of waking up and having prayer be something that's cool to do. Listening to affirmations in the morning. I click that thing on and I put it on. I put the motivational speakers in my ear. I let it ring out. Look, my kids know all the speakers' names. they know everybody. They know everybody's voices, because I make sure that starts my day off with a powerful message, and that helps me to process and to lead and direct my day, direct the energy and the spirit of my own day.
Good.
That is mental health as well. And so, you know, I one thing that I see that's happening, and I was contacted by somebody. We all talked about, like, yeah, going to the barbershop. Well, there are a group of men who are starting to do these live, like, kind of personal development meetings in the barbershops. I mean, they're just going and having these events set up. They might have a little something, some, you know, food or like light refreshments or whatever. And men are just coming together and having events. Because listen, because half the time I have an event called Menspiration, like an all guys event. It is a struggle to get men into the doors of men's events. That, you know, they used to have Men's Day at church. I don't even see churches doing Men's Day anymore because men won't show up, you know.
Wow.
So we have to take the
You have
message.
to be creative, right?
Yes, we gotta take the
We
message
gotta meet
where
them where they at.
meet
Right.
them where they at. They was going to the barbershop anyway.
Right.
The greatest thing that you can do is if you want to have an impact on somebody, grab them where they're already going, you know, and meet them there already. And so because they already have the behavior of going to the barbershop. It's not a new behavior. Going to church might be a new behavior for somebody, which that's why it doesn't happen. But going to the barbershop is a consistent behavior that they always do. They know the barber. It's a familiar environment, and it's an environment where men might be able to really have some breakthroughs. And so I've been waiting on a guy who's told me that he had something set up for 2 or 3 barbershops. If he doesn't get back to me in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to host it. Love Coach Atlanta is going to host an event, a Menspiration at the barbershops, and I'll just do it myself because I can't. Look, there are men who are dying. You heard my statistic. Men are dying and losing their lives because they've got nobody to talk to.
Right. Or they're numbing themselves. Somebody's
got to say something.
Yeah.
And why not us?
Right.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And, you know, again, Kelvin, you already know, just keep doing what you're doing because it's making an impact. And we need more men doing what both of you are doing. So I want to give this opportunity for the both of you to share. Aaron, you want to share if you have any upcoming.
Uh-oh, we lost the audio. Lost the audio. Lost the audio. Frozen. Aaron, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Oh, she's back.
You back?
No.
Okay, yeah, it froze up a little bit.
Okay.
All right, good. We're at the end. So I just wanted to say, how, what you have coming up, and then how people can reach you. If you have any workshops, speaking engagements, anything like that, how people can reach you. Aaron.
No, I'm not doing nothing. I'm chilling.
You doing something? You taking care of your beautiful baby.
I have two wonderful children, Hudson and Harley.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm just coming off of paternity leave. So I took a break mentally. So I did my own mental health in terms of
Excellent.
not accepting. So Phoenix, you are actually my first event like
Oh,
situation out of paternity leave. Yeah,
thank you.
yeah,
I really feel blessed that you accepted now that I know you've been on paternity leave and you have your
I've
baby
been,
right
so
there.
I owe,
So thank
I have
you.
a lot of people that I have to like reach back out to because I was like, nope, sorry, can't, nope, sorry, nope, nope, nope.
Good for you.
Yeah, for my own,
Good for
like
you.
I had
And
to
that's
just
a
like be
powerful
present.
message, right?
Yeah,
Yes, that's a powerful.
I'm promoting it, so I need to do it for myself. So, um, I mean, now that summer's coming, there's some events coming up. Maybe I'll get back in the swing of things. But in the meantime, I could be reached at the underscore therapist on Instagram. That's where I do a lot of posts and people reach out to me via DM asking questions or referrals to different therapists throughout the country because I recognize the need for Black male therapists and just the need to connect. So I started a Facebook group. I think maybe it's almost 400 Black male therapists from around the country. So it may
Excellent.
so if somebody needs somebody that I can refer them in that state.
Okay. And what's the name of the group?
So it's only for Black male therapists. So it's Black male therapists, but it's where we connect and share resources and just process.
So it's a network for Black male therapists.
For
Okay.
Black male therapists. So it's only for Black male therapists. But when people reach out to me, if I know someone, I have everybody's information, because they fill out their own a database, so I know what state they're in. So if somebody hits me up, I can refer them to someone in that state.
Okay, that's good to know because I often, like I said, I get questions all the time, looking for therapists, Black male therapists. So that's good to know, information even for myself for networking and stuff and for referrals. Okay. Kelvin, someone had a question for you. I was just looking really quick.
Sure.
What steps, Corey says, what steps did you take to create your consistent morning routine?
Okay. So the first thing a person has to do above all else is just decide. Decide comes from the root word decisio, which means to cut off all other options, right? Decide, this is what I'm going to do. When I open my eyes, I'm going to I'll turn it on. So for me, my phone is near me. I click that YouTube, turn on YouTube, and there's a guy playing piano that I just go right in, I close my eyes, and I start the meditation process right there. And just kind of the consistency. When I've done that, I'm on my way to the bathroom, I turn on the motivator and let that guy talk to me in my ear and help me get focused on my day. And so doing that day after day, I get to the point now I don't even think about it. It's now a habit and a routine. I don't know that I intended to make it a habit and a routine. I just did it every day.
Right.
And now we got the results. So
excellent. Okay. There was another question, but I don't know. Chris was my guest yesterday. What happened to getting to know each other? And I'm not sure if that was the question was referring to our earlier conversation about dating,
about relationships. Yeah.
Relationships. So he said, what happened to getting to know each other? I don't know if anybody wants to.
Nobody want to get to know each other no more. It's real microwave, real quick.
Hook up.
It's about hooking up. It's about not really knowing nobody, not really communicating, not really learning love language, not really learning about somebody's history, none of that stuff. It's just real quick. You know what I'm saying? And then when you realize, you be like, do y'all really know each other? I find a lot during couples, and when you play a simple game of like, do you know this? And it's like, they don't really know nothing. The simple things about each other. Middle names. You know what I'm saying? Simple stuff like that. So
wow.
He's right.
Wow. And really quickly, because you mentioned it a few times, Aaron, just quickly tell people, I know there's a book or a couple of books on love languages and stuff, information out there, but just quickly, just talk about the love language, like really like a synopsis of it.
So how I break it down for couples in terms of love language, is really knowing how someone shows their affection, because they may not recognize what you and your brain recognize as love, but the person is showing their love, their care for you. And when you don't know the other person's love language, then that can cause conflict because you're wondering if the person cares for you. Yeah, they do, but in their own special way. So when you read that book or take the quiz about some people don't even know what their love language is. So it's like it's hard. How can someone demonstrate that they love you if you don't even know how can you conceptualize love in your head? So that's why I always recommend that book, the five love languages.
Okay.
I mean, I pushed that one. I know there's other books, but I definitely pushed that one. And then there's another book by Dr. Boyce Watkins about financial lovemaking, and how showing your like kind of discrepancies in your finances is like revealing that you have venereal disease. Yeah, so like poor credit, large amounts on credit card, just like saying, hey, I have an STD, and could be very embarrassing. But in terms of moving forward with someone long term, it's important that you kind of expose yourself, all aspects of yourself, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because finance is a huge part of a relationship.
Exactly.
So those are two books we didn't even get to talk about finances in detail, how that affects Black men, because we come into the table. You know what I'm saying? We want to come to the table as the head of household. And if we talk about the spiritual piece, about what the Bible says about being the head of household. Now, how can we be the head of household if it's not from a financial standpoint? Now, in our brain, because it may not be just about finances, it's about our presence, right? But we just think about it from a financial standpoint.
Yeah, because it is from a financial standpoint.
Right. When it said the number one stressor, research saying is finances for men.
Right.
Black
but in addition to finance, I feel like because you could be bringing money to the table, but you're absent because you are so busy making money that you feel like, yo, that's all I do. But mom is still rearing. You have no decision making abilities because, here, just take the money. But where you allocate when the money's going, if they going to camp, like mom is just deciding everything. So for me, being head of household is being present during child rearing. They're present in terms of decision making. What camp you going to? Summer clothes. Let's pick it out together. Like not just from a financial standpoint, but various aspects of the family being present.
Yeah.
Partnership. Go ahead, Kelvin.
And I'll bring up another part that is not. There's a sweltering, rising population of men who are just deciding they don't want to just do any of that stuff that Aaron just talked about. They're done with the providing and the protecting. They said, you know what? They call it men going their own way. MGTOW is growing in population. They just decided, and these are men who have decided from after having their third divorce and getting worked over. Because listen, the court system it favors the women, flat out. It favors the women, and it does not favor men. And so men are looking at that and saying, like, well, wait a minute, what's in this for me? Like, why do I need to be a husband or even a father? Like, why? How come I can't just be me? Can I just be me and still be a man? And so they're deciding, men going their own way, deciding they're taking the red pill and focusing on themselves and just saying, away with it all, and so which is leaving a lot of women without partners who are ready for a real commitment and to walk the journey of life with. So
Yeah. And you know what? But unfortunately, this goes back to the conversation we were having yesterday on the virtual panel about how that breaks down the Black family.
The family, right?
And that breaks down our community. We're trying to build up our community. We're trying to build up our families because that's how we're going to be stronger. That's how we're going to, get those, everybody's talking about reparations right now, right? But there's another side of reparations, the reparations within our own community where there's been that breakdown and the stripping away from the days of slavery, from the days of, just going through years and years of oppression and all of that stuff. And it's broke us down. And we have, our men that are incarcerated. We have our men that, on drugs and, are hurting or not in the home. And it's like, if we're going to repair that, they can't just go their own way. We have to pull it back together, right?
Right.
So, you know, that none of that serves anybody. It doesn't serve the children. It doesn't serve the woman. It doesn't serve the man, you know.
Right.
So we have to still figure this out. And this is bigger than this conversation within an hour, of course, we know.
Yeah. But it's good that we're having it, because
But we're having it, right.
this is how, like, we grow. We grow by connecting and impacting each other. And like, we don't even know who's going to watch this very video 2 years from now. You know what I mean? And this might be the thing that turns the switch and have somebody to go to therapy.
Right.
Have somebody to make a new decision that, you know what, I'm going to pull my life together and go in the right direction. And so I thank you for having us. Definitely.
Listen, I thank you both for being here. Kelvin, do you want to tell people how to get in touch with you and leave some parting words or parting quote, you know, for the people? And then Aaron, you can come right behind him with your last words, and then we'll wrap it up.
Absolutely. All right. So we are having an event here in Atlanta on July 19th. I don't know. This isn't a Lessons in Love event, is it? I think it is a Lessons in Love event. But this one's going to be a little different. It's going to be a little different, but it's going to be fun. All of our events are about love. It's about fun. We're going to have food and drinks and music and just people coming together, connecting, and that's going to be a great time. So come to Atlanta. Look, hop on a plane and come to Atlanta. I'm just saying, where else are you going to be? And come hang out with us as we have a great time connecting and learning about love and relationships here in Atlanta. So everybody, you guys can follow me on Love Coach Atlanta on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We're out there. LoveCoachAtlanta.com is our home base as well. And you guys can follow my work, Kelvin Troy Johnson, everywhere. Kelvin Troy Johnson, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can follow us there. And so my parting words to you is this. You've got one life to live and a short time to live it. Do whatever it takes to enjoy your life, blow it out, and enjoy your life. Like, really enjoy this moment, because this is all we have. So make the most of your life today. God bless you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Aaron?
Oh man, I actually hate these type of things because I'm not that fly with these things. I'm really
you
not.
said I'm not that fly with it. You fly. Look, somebody gave you, I think Chastity said, let me give you this to encourage you. Look, she said, where she said you're like MVP of the Father of the Year goes to
Father
Aaron.
of the Year.
Oh.
Father of the Year.
Thank you, Chastity. I just want to encourage black men that if you're going through something, you don't have to feel, you don't have to suffer. You don't have to suffer in silence. That there is support out there for you. Those days of having to fake strong is over. And there's help out there for you. Like I feel like it's whack to be suffering.
Yes, beautiful. And that's it. It don't have to be all sexy. Give it to them straight, because that's what we need. We need authenticity. We need people that are real. Again, when I was putting this together, I knew the people that I wanted to bring on, and I thank you both for being here. I just want to let everybody know that also I offer stress management programs. I have a special for the summer, July, August, September, and where you can be in my stress management groups, and you get a couple of sessions, individual sessions, and come in and experience my healing bowls and my other tools that I use, and the holistic healing ways of dealing with stress and anxiety. And men, I would love for you to come see me. I'm here to help. I'm a resource. I'm right here in New York. And you have these wonderful gentlemen. You have Kelvin in Atlanta. You have Aaron here in New York as well. So thank you so much, everyone. Please, please, please share this video out. If you have questions for Aaron or for Kelvin, just drop it in the comment section. If we didn't get a chance to answer all of your questions. I know they will go back, they can check. And please, gentlemen, drop your info. I think, Aaron, I saw somebody scribing for you. Kelvin, I think the same thing, but just double check.
Oh,
And if
thank you.
anything,
All right.
especially those books
Absolutely.
that you mentioned, if you can drop that info.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Have a blessed evening.
You
All right.
too. Thank you.
Take care.
See you.